Do you ever feel like your mind just never stops? Maybe you replay conversations in your head. You think about what you should have said. You imagine a future that hasn't even happened yet. And sometimes it's the smallest things, a message you sent, a decision you made, something someone said 3 days ago, and suddenly your mind starts analyzing it again and again and again. And you know it's not helping. You know thinking about it one more time won't really solve anything, but your brain just keeps going anyway. Like a hamster wheel, you just can't step off. Even when you're tired, even when you're trying to sleep. And if that sounds familiar, well, you're not alone. Today I'm going to show you one of the Bach Flower Remedies that can finally quiet a mind that never seems to stop thinking. Not by forcing your thoughts to simply disappear, but by restoring the inner calm your mind has forgotten. And I'll also show you how to take it so you know exactly what to do here. Hi, I'm Michelle. I am a Bach Flower practitioner and vibrational healer, and I work with emotionally self-aware and sensitive people who want to heal their inner world and improve their emotions and their lives with that using Bach Flower Remedies. And one of the most common struggles I see with my clients is not anxiety, not stress. It's really a mind that simply doesn't know how to rest anymore. A mind that keeps thinking, analyzing, anticipating, preparing, and over time that constant mental activity becomes exhaustion. Not because thinking is bad, obviously, but because thinking never stops. So let's start here, because the problem isn't thinking. Thinking is really useful. Thinking is helping us to learn and plan and understand. But overthinking is different. Overthinking feels like replaying the same conversations again and again. Maybe analyzing situations that already ended a long time ago, imagining future problems that might never happen. Sounds so much like me. Searching for the perfect explanation or the perfect decision. And what's interesting is this. Most people who overthink are actually very conscientious people. They want to do the right thing. They want to understand everything. And they want to make good decisions. They want to avoid hurting others or making mistakes. So the mind develops a really good strategy. It says, if I just think enough about this, I will finally understand it. If I analyze it enough, I'll prevent future problems. But, well, that's where the trap begins, because life cannot be solved entirely inside the mind. Some things simply need time. Some things need experience. Some things simply need to unfold. And when the mind tries to control what cannot be controlled, it gets stuck in loops. Overthinking is an attempt to control uncertainty. The mind believes that if it keeps working, it will eventually find the perfect answer. But many situations in life don't have a perfect answer. They evolve, they change, they reveal themselves gradually. And when the mind refuses to accept that, it tries to compensate by thinking more and more and more. You try to solve life in your head. You imagine future problems. You prepare for things that might never happen. But instead of clarity, you really get mental noise, and eventually that noise becomes exhausting. You feel mentally tired, but your mind keeps running anyway, almost like an engine that forgot how to turn off. Now let's go deeper, because overthinking usually develops in people who learned early that they had to be careful, responsible, aware. Maybe you became the one who thought things through all the time. Maybe you were the one who always tried to avoid mistakes. Maybe you felt very responsible for making the right decisions. So the mind became a kind of an internal problem solver. And at first that skill can be really, really helpful to survive. It makes you perceptive, it makes you thoughtful, it makes you aware of subtle dynamics. But later that skill becomes a burden, because the mind never switches off anymore, even when there is nothing left to solve. Even when the situation is already finished. Even when rest would actually be the wisest response. And this is where Bach Flower Remedies become incredibly helpful, because overthinking isn't solved by logic alone. If logic would solve it, well, you would already be free of it. Overthinking is a state, it is a mental and emotional pattern where the mind just keeps moving because it doesn't feel safe enough to rest. And Bach Flower Remedies work with these inner states. They are vibrational remedies made by imprinting water with the energetic pattern of particular flowers. And each remedy responds to a specific emotional pattern. For instance, overthinking, sudden sadness, guilt, anger, lack of confidence. They help the system return to balance. And when the inner tension softens, the mind naturally becomes quieter. So the most important remedy for overthinking is white chestnut. White chestnut is the remedy for mental loops, for thoughts that repeat again and again, for conversations that replay long after they ended, for that feeling that your mind is like a broken record. White chestnut doesn't stop you from thinking. Instead, it restores something really very precious. And that is inner silence. The mind begins to calm down. Thoughts come when they are useful, and then they leave again. Instead of circling endlessly, many people notice that they can finally fall asleep more easily, or that the mind simply lets things go. Now, there is also another remedy that can play an important role here. Vervain. Vervain is for people whose mind is not only busy, but intensely active. They feel strongly, they care deeply, they want to improve things and fix things and understand things. Their mind is often full of ideas and convictions and energy, but that same intensity can make it a little difficult to relax. Even when the body is tired, the mind just keeps going. So Vervain helps to restore that inner moderation. It allows the mind to kind of step back, relax, and stop pushing so hard. When white chestnut calms mental loops, Vervain softens mental over-intensity. And together they can bring a lot of peace to an overactive mind. If this topic resonates deeply with you, you might really enjoy my course, Bloom into Balance. This is not a practitioner training, it is designed for people who want to heal their emotions and their lives using Bach Flower Remedies. In this course I guide you step by step through understanding your emotional patterns, selecting the right remedies, working with them, making your own remedy bottles, and building a healing plan that actually works in real life. Many people feel lost when they start working with remedies, and Bloom into Balance helps you develop clarity and confidence so you can work with the remedies in a very meaningful way. You're also very welcome to join my community called the Remedy Circle. This is a space where people who are interested in Bach Flower Remedies and healing come together to learn, to ask questions, and to share their own experiences. I regularly share insights there, answer questions, go live, and guide people in their healing progress. And if you join now, you have lifelong free access. And if you feel like you need more personal guidance, I'm also open for consultations, one-on-one, where I create a personalized healing plan together with you. All the links are in the description. Now, let me give you a simple, practical plan. If white chestnut resonates with you, or Vervain, or both, get Bach Flower Remedy, white chestnut and or Vervain, 10 milliliter stock bottle. Step 2, take a bottle of still water. Step 3, add 2 drops of white chestnut, or 2 drops of Vervain, or 2 drops of both in that bottle and sip throughout the day. Use the remedies daily for about 2 to 3 weeks minimum and observe the changes. You may notice that your mind becomes quieter. Thoughts appear once and instead of repeating endlessly, they go away. If this video helped you, I would really appreciate your support. Leave a small comment and tell me if you recognize this pattern. Maybe you can share this video with someone whose mind never seems to rest, or simply watch another video on my channel. These are very small actions that help my channel grow more than you know. And they are totally free. Thank you so much for being here with me. I loved making this one. I'll see you in the next video.